Good morning. Good morning. You are watching and listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I am one of your hosts, Regina the Queen. Regina the Queen of Carlone. Good morning.
What's up, everybody? It's Dr. T. Happy Saturday.
So everybody that's new to our pod this morning, we are at where are we? El
We at
Paso,
El
El Pel,
Picasso.
El Paso,
El Picasso.
El Picasso, located
Yes,
at
the art
46 North,
gallery.
located at 46 North Saginaw. So shout out to Ivan for letting us rent the space for an hour. So we appreciate you this morning.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's absolutely beautiful in here. This is a hidden gem in Pontiac. So I'm so glad to be in this space today. So for all the listeners and the viewers, you have to stop by and see this amazing space.
So if you're watching this morning, we want to just make sure that you share our video, our podcast this morning. I know our producer will be sharing it, but share it on your page and just get the word out. We're just doing actually one of the last conversations. I don't want to say debates, right?
No, this isn't a debate. This is a conversation. Yeah.
So be in the driver's seat conversation.
Yeah, and I'm so excited because both of the mayoral candidates have been on being in the driver's seat twice each person, and I've learned so much about them. I'm so glad that I'm in this space with them today. I'm excited about what's happening in the city of Pontiac and the new changes.
So, I'm excited this morning. We got down here around 7:10, 7:15, and I've never seen this much traffic in the city of Pontiac in the morning.
I mean, it's jumping down here.
People parking, people going in the ATM, going in Bank of America, walking in, not doing the ATM outside. People unpacking down at the Strand. I'm like, what is going on? Why is everybody out this
I don't
early?
know, but it was pumped. I don't even know what be happening in my city in the morning time about 6, 7. I need to see what's happening around here.
So you know what? This morning is special for us because we're actually on location.
Oh, yeah.
And we're excited to be here. But, I know that people that follow us know a little bit about us, right? But for the people that don't know me, my name is Regina. Regina, I usually say Eileen now. But for actually 40 years, I never really said my middle name.
Really?
Up until recently.
What made you? Oh, is it because other person's being named Regina?
No. So when I had my mortgage company, it was Eileen Mortgage.
Okay.
But I always went by Regina Woodard. But just recently, I said I'm Regina Eileen Woodard. So the bottom line is this: I'm born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan. Good morning, Don Hannah.
Good morning, Don.
So born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan. Don't actually vote or live in Pontiac, Michigan. But my roots are from Pontiac, and actually, the people that don't know me don't know that I have. People that do know me, some of them, if you really know me, you know that I have two brothers.
Yes.
And my brothers are special needs, and they live in Pontiac. And actually, I was born and raised on the south side of Pontiac. South side?
Double wide, but west side.
But also, I went to Pontiac schools. I grew up on the south side, went to Franklin, Jefferson, and then moved and went to, where did I go? Lincoln. And then I went to Pontiac schools all the way up until 10th grade. My dad remarried. I went to Northern, so I am a Husky at heart.
Chiefs in the house.
No,
whoop,
absolutely
Chiefs
not.
in the house. Whoop, whoop.
But so I graduated from Bloomfield Hills Lasser. So shout out to Bloomfield Hills Lasser. That's actually not around anymore. But yeah, and then I played basketball. I played basketball, went to college, and graduated from college, and actually stayed in the area. So these are my roots from the city of Pontiac.
Yeah, likewise. I was born and raised in the city of Pontiac. Shout out to my late mother, Linda K. Burrows. I grew up in the projects. So for those of you who don't know, PJP, baby, listen, it was a city within itself. I was born and raised. My grandmother migrated here, and she moved to the projects. So it was a legacy of us over there. And I'm telling you, I learned a lot being there. We went from the projects and we went over to Newman Lane Apartments, NLP, to Lancaster, LCC. So I've kind of been in Pontiac all my life until me and my husband purchased our first home right here in the city of Pontiac, which we've lived in for 21 years. So I am born and raised. The blood of Pontiac rolls through my body. And so I'm excited today because I want to see our city go forward. I want to see actual promises that's being made actually be fulfilled. I want to see my city thrive like other cities. And I want integrity to be the foundation of which we stand on. So I'm excited today.
So agreed. So we would just want to say we usually have a number to call in this morning, but we do not have a call in number this morning because we are on location. But we do want to say that if you do have questions, you can put them in the bottom of the screen. And if we do choose to ask that question, you'll get it answered. But we also want to say that we did advise our mayoral candidates that they keep it clean.
Yeah,
whether they'll listen or not, but we want them to make sure that they keep it clean this morning. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody who's shouting us out. Good morning. Good to see y'all on this morning. So it's almost time, showtime. So we're going to take a break and we're going to be right back with our mayoral candidates. Who we got on the show today?
Oh, we got Kermit Williams, mayor candidate for the city of Pontiac.
And we have Mike McGinnis, mayoral candidate for the city of Pontiac. So tune in. We'll be right back after this quick break. Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up Man, along with Joe Longhammer and Regina, the queen of car loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
If I'm looking for a new car and I have $500, Regina, what can you do for me?
I'll take your $500 and turn it into $1,000.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only handle 25 of these deals each month.
Hurry before those 25 deals are gone.
Call or text 248-266-9875. I'll get you approved.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
We're back, and we want to thank you for coming back with us. If you are new to our page, we want to make sure that you follow us. We are live on a Be in the Driver's Seat, but we're also live on our YouTube page.
Yeah,
Be in the
YouTube.
Driver's Seat.
And you can also listen back on Apple, Spotify. So we have some streaming that's going on. So we're excited. Yes. Okay, somebody already started. Early voting starts today at the library. Get out and vote between 8 a.m. and 4:30. So that's good. Early voting starts today. All right, let's get it. So you all have been watching. You have seen both mayoral candidates. You have watched the debate. You have seen them out in the community. There has been numerous supporters that have listed everything that they've done. We have seen these gentlemen working, and so we're glad to have them in the studio today. And so let's get started, Regina.
First of all, let's give Kermit a shout out this morning. Today is his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kermit.
Yeah, so if y'all see Kermit out in the community, make sure y'all tell him happy birthday. Sew into him. Lunch dates, dinner dates. Make sure y'all include Angela.
Include that fiance.
That's right.
But so let's go ahead and get started. Mike, this question is directed to you first, and then Kermit will answer after you. And you guys will have 2 minutes to actually answer the question. And then, Dr. T, are you keeping the timer? Because I told you I can't chew bubble gum and run down the street.
She literally can't do that.
Okay,
So.
that is not nice. So, born and raised in Pontiac, and even Pontiac right now, Pontiac has a very diverse community. It being a diverse community, residents of many backgrounds and experiences. As a leader, will you use your words and make decisions that reflect inclusion and respect for all people, not just one group, Mike?
It's essential. And good morning. Thank you for the opportunity, and happy birthday again to Mr. Williams. Pontiac is a special, beautiful, and diverse place, and it's one of our superpowers. It's one of the best parts of living here because it's for all of us and includes all of us. And as the most diverse city in our region, really one of the most diverse cities in Michigan and beyond, we have to protect that, we have to support that, and we have to include everybody. Just last night, I was having a conversation with the leadership of Central Multicultural La Familia, Spanish-speaking service agency based right here in downtown Pontiac, about Pontiac being one of the earliest welcoming cities, making it formal, making it official that we are a welcoming city. We are in spirit, but we have to do it in deed and in policies. And I just want to say that our mayor definitely has to be there to advocate, use their words, use their voice, but also to help make a city work well for all of us on all sides of town. And I've run this campaign, I've served on council and school board, and I would be mayor for all of us, including all of us. Whether you're an immigrant who've been here for a few months, or you're a family that's been here for generations. It's for all of us, it must serve all of us. Every taxpayer's dollar, we're not screening them to say we're only gonna cash or use those based on how many years you've been here. It's for all of us, and our city has to be welcoming, inclusive, and serving all of us.
All right.
Kermit?
Yeah, I think part of what we have to do is make sure that our economic dollars reflect our diversity. Pontiac is 47% African American, about 25% Caucasian, 25% Hispanic, and then a couple percent Asian Island Pacific. We need to be able to reflect our city dollars to make sure that it's really supporting all people. So one of the things we want to do from day one is have cultural corridors. We're right here downtown, and downtown has been through many innovations my whole life. And every mayor has focused basically specifically on downtown. I want to focus on our major thoroughfares, making sure we have cultural centers. Auburn needs to be like Livernois in Detroit, where we have Black support. I love what they're doing with Sheila's Bakery and other things off of Baldwin and Cesar Chavez and Perry. But the city needs to support that with dollars. We can't literally tell people that we support diversity and we don't have Black-owned businesses throughout the city with any ownership. We're downtown. I love the art gallery that's there, but at the end of the day, we don't have any Black-owned business in the city of Pontiac. That's almost 50% Black. That's unacceptable. And that's because we haven't been thoughtful in the process of making sure dollars go to these businesses. We let them set up as a small business. They make downtown very popular. And then as soon as they do that, they raise up the rent, kick them out, and now they don't have a place to be. As mayor of Pontiac, I'm going to make sure that not only are we sowing seeds into our small business, but we're protecting them and protecting the diversity that they bring. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have real dollars, it doesn't make real sense.
Okay, that was good. And so my next question is, as a leader, will you use words and make decisions which will reflect inclusion and respect for all people, not just for one group? And when we say our people, who are we actually referring to? And this was a question that was posed. So, Mike, when we say our people, who are we actually referring to? And how do we make sure that this phrase truly includes all residents?
Our city has about 62,000 residents today, so everyone means everyone. And I think, Regina, you were just sharing early on in the segment that Pontiac's family extends beyond those that just right now own a home in our city, because there are people that grew up here, that worship here, that work here, that lead here. So we're really talking about 100,000 plus. But as the leader of the city government, the mayor's role needs to be definitely focused on the citizens and taxpayers. But we have a lot of property owners that, major businesses, mom and pop stores, and we do have many diverse businesses all throughout our city in a way that a lot of other cities, I think, would want to emulate. But they definitely deserve support, inclusion, and resources. But they deserve a strategy. They deserve a thriving city. And that's what, as mayor, I want to deliver, that we're improving quality of life, improving neighborhood services on all sides of town for every block, for every citizen. And it's hard work, it's challenging work, but it's so meaningful. And that's part of the reason why I'm going, crawling through glass and putting up with a lot of negativity and all that comes with running for office. It's been a marathon of a year, but it's meaningful, rewarding work because as a resident, it's for my benefit. As a taxpayer and homeowner, it's for my benefit, but it's for my dad's benefit too. And all of my neighbors, I want all of us to be able to unlock all of the opportunity and the beauty that Pontiac really represents. And we need that from a mayor in their words and how we're going to include everybody. So everyone must mean everyone. And there's work that I'll always have to do as a white man. There's a degree of privilege that I walk through this earth with. And I want to be able to, one, be aware of that, be attuned to that, but also be advocating and including everyone, regardless of their station of life. And my family's journey has been a unique and sometimes difficult one, the Pontiac story for me. And I always think about how would it be if my dad never got back on his feet after his in and out of jail or in and out of the mental hospital here in Pontiac, if he hadn't got that help or if he was more on the margins of society. That really grounds a lot of the work and decisions I make in life, even if I wasn't in office. When I see somebody on the street, I think that could have easily been my father or another family member. And these are humans. These are people that, through variety of socioeconomic reasons, are in a more difficult spot.
Thank you so much, Mike. Kermit, I'll re-ask you that question. When one says our people, who are you referring to? How do you make sure that this phrase truly includes all residents?
So for the last 5 years, I've been blessed to be co-director of Oakland Forward. I'm on sabbatical now because I'm running for mayor. And our mission statement is to engage, equip, and empower residents through self-determination to collectively revitalize communities of color. So we've been fighting for people with disability. We've been fighting for all ethnicities. We've been fighting for the least of these because at the end of the day, poverty is evil. When I talk about our people, I talk about people who not only were born in Pontiac, live in Pontiac, who were raised in Pontiac like myself. Go Huskies. My mama was a chief, and so nobody's perfect. But
I think that was a shot. I think that was a shot at me.
I love you, mama. I got to take her to her class reunion of class of '68, and that was one of the proudest moments in my life. But I bought her a home here, so I'm a homeowner, taxpayer, and all that other good stuff. But we have to make sure that not only are we taking care of people who physically look like us, but we also need to take care of people with challenges. She has cerebral palsy, and so I've been advocating for her whole life. And that's why when I went to school, I went for speech communications to make sure I could understand and advocate and make sure people have a voice. So when I talk about us, I'm talking about the people who are invested in Pontiac. There's a lot of people from outside that thrive on keeping Pontiac poor, keeping Pontiac locked out, and we want to have a city that we're not visitors in. We want to have a city that we actually get the benefit of the nice things. I believe in revitalization and not gentrification. They're trying to displace people who have been here for 50, 60 years, and that's unacceptable.
Okay. All right. That was good. But let me just say, Chiefs are in the house, okay? Shout out to your mama for being a Chief.
You see, I'm frowning right now because I am not a Husky. I mean, I'm not a chief. I'm a Husky, but actually I'm a Knight. So I think that you need to stay like in the middle when it comes to Husky, Chiefs, wherever y'all was over there. But let me just say this: when I played basketball, we kick y'all butt every time.
That was so long ago. I wasn't even there yet. So how do you?
So well, let's just say this. So let's go back.
Yeah,
I've been knowing you for 25 years.
Longer than that.
Okay, don't tell nobody. Oh, so next.
I done bought cars from you longer than that. No, but okay, go ahead.
All right, we want to turn that time on again.
When it's time.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm trying to start already. So my next question is, So language matters in leadership. We all know this, right? Doesn't matter what role that you play. So how would you hold yourself accountable to using words that unite rather than divide? So words that unite us are, well, words that unite us, all of us in the community, everyone calls Pontiac home, our shared Pontiac. Different communities bring unique strengths. So how would you hold yourself accountable to using these words that unite rather than divide? Mike?
That's going to be a question that all of us as citizens have to also be holding ourselves to that same question. Are we leading? Are we living our lives in a way that is neighborly? Are we good neighbors? And Pontiac's been through so much financially, socioeconomically, a lot of change, a lot of disruption. And as mayor, but also in the roles that I've held, I've tried to always inject positivity, always try to carry myself where I'm improving, making it better than when I found it. And that's something as a citizen I've tried to do, as a resident and a homeowner, and we'll want our mayor, that's what I want in my mayor, somebody that's going to include all of us, that won't divide us, that won't pit us against each other for short-term benefit, that's going to put us in a stronger position to go the long haul and go it together. Because in the short term, we might think divide and conquer gets us what we want, but really, it really just chains us residents to not being able to unlock our full potential. And I want our city to thrive. You know, we were drowning financially 25, 20 years ago, even as recently as 15 years ago. We're out of the drowning phase. We're in surviving. And for us to go from surviving to thriving, we're going to need leadership. We're going to need property owners, taxpayers, residents, cheerleaders for Pontiac that are going to be forward-focused, positive, and include all of us. And that's how I've tried to live my life. And that's how I've tried to be a public official here in our city. And whether I'm elected or not, that's the positivity and the progress-focused approach that I'm going to continue to try to carry myself with in the mayor's office, or just as a resident cheering from the sidelines and volunteering every day to try and make it better.
Thank you.
Kermit, I'm just going to repeat the question. Leadership matters. Language matters in leadership. How would you hold yourself accountable to using words that unite rather than divide? Words that unite us, all of us in the community, everyone who calls Pontiac home.
Thank you. Part of it is we have to do more than just talk about positivity and change. We have to be about it. My first memory of social and civic action was marching with the late Robert Price, Hubert Price's brother, down Jesse Street. It had been drug infested. If you go to Steve Park, which is still in disrepair, but almost 20 years ago, we had a huge drug problem. They had a shooting at Steve Park. So Mr. Price marched for 365 days, and we were able to culminate with Dick Gregory coming to the city. And so my mom made me march down the street for that kind of change. What's happened for a long time is public officials have given a lot of lip service to Pontiac, and people are truly hurting. And so I want to be very clear. Calling out an issue or a condition is not being negative. It's being real. And so a lot of times people want fluff, they want people to gloss over it, but this is not Martha Stewart. This is a real city that we have real challenges. At the end of the day, we're going to look at people who may not be able to eat. And so even though I'm celebrating my birthday today, I'm asking people to bring canned goods to the library because we know that SNAP benefits and food stamps are about to get cut off. I don't want to have platitudes talking about people being hungry. I want to call out the real issue because we have to work with all levels of government to help our people. And so I would rather not sound the way that people think I should sound and get results for people than glossing over their problems and making them feel good with a soundbite.
So we thank you for answering the questions so far. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up Man, along with Joe Longhammer and Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
If I'm looking for a new car and I have $500, Regina, what can you do for me?
I'll take your $500 and turn it into $1,000.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only handle 25 of these deals each month.
Hurry before those 25 deals are gone.
Call or text 248-266-9875. I'll get you approved.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up Man, along with Joe Longhammer and Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
If I'm looking for a new car and I have $500, Regina, what can you do for me?
I'll take your $500 and turn it into $1,000.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only handle 25 of these deals each month.
Hurry before those 25 deals are gone.
Call or text 248-266-9875. I'll get you approved.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com. And you are back to watching Be in the Driver's Seat. We have both mayoral candidates in the building today. We have Mike McGinnis and Kermit Williams. So Kermit, when you left off, you talked about inclusiveness and how SNAP benefits. You brought up some real live things that are happening now and how you want to be present. So Mike, my next question is for you. One of the biggest criticisms that we've heard, we've seen people chime in is some things that happened in your past, right? And so it seems like a lot of people may not be forgiving and they want to know, how did you get on the ballot? So how can you assure the people who may have had these questions or are reading these things and really don't know who they should vote for, how can you assure them that you are the better person and that your past does not dictate what you'll do in the future?
The beauty of elections is the choice, the option to say which direction, which candidate, which vibe are you feeling? Mm-hmm. And it's healthy and good if the person that you're wanting to support isn't the other person. That's the nature of the Democratic choice. 15 years ago, I was chair of the Oakland County Democratic Party, and in my 20s, so eager, so driven and hardworking, and in part influenced by my Pontiac experience, where when my dad was in and out of Clinton Valley, and then the state closed that hospital and then tore it down, it really impacted me and opened up my eyes that this is the career that I want to do. This is the field that inspires me, excites me. That's why I chose political science as my major. I went to Oakland University. I worked for campaigns. I ran campaigns. I got elected chair of the Oakland County Democratic Party, the youngest in the state. And in that role, I was just so driven to trying to win, trying to help the good guys, that's my team, that's my side, the Democratic Party win in the first term of the Obama administration. And in that role, I was trying to help Democrats get elected, and I got drawn into mess, really, about, let's try and, win by any means necessary. And so I now, for the rest of my life, have to carry the burden and the scarlet letter of my criminal past, my felonies, where in my role as the chair of the Democratic Party, getting involved in election illegal activities and just being aware of it. And in Michigan, when you're aware of illegal activities, it's called aiding and abetting. So I have 6 felonies, and it's from that experience where I had to lose my job, lose my political role, lose a lot of friends. It was a very challenging time, humbling process, and scary time because I was younger. I'd never been in any trouble of any kind and wasn't in well-off financial means. So I had to basically lose everything and try and start again. But it really shaped me in formative ways that I hold myself to a very high standard. I don't get involved in mess and BS. If anything, even just feels not right, I remove myself from the situation and put up safeguards and barriers. And that's how I've been in my different elected roles. I know it's time. I'm willing to keep answering this question and give up my time to answer another question if you want to, because I know it's on a lot of people's minds. But with all that, 15 years ago, if that's why you don't want me to be, all right, fine, I'll stop. I'll answer it in a further question because I know it's what a lot of people want to hear, and I want to keep going into.
And we got questions. And so, Kermit, we'll give you an extra 15 seconds for the question Regina has.
So I really want to, let's switch off for a second. I see that, my question is, my question is toward you, Kermit. We have heard many people say in the community that you have actually went below the belt on some things that you have said in the political world. How do you not address that, but do you think that's fair by going below the belt by saying some things you have said in the community?
So first of all, everything I've said has been truthful. I wish I had got the opponent's question because I've been doing it the right way. For the last 20 years, I've been fighting for democracy. And so I've never done anything to challenge or change elections. We've been working to make voting rights easier. So I've stood at the Capitol. We worked on Proposal 1, Proposal 2, Proposal 3. And the reason we have early voting at the library is because not only did I get petitions, but we worked as an organization to get that done. And so when people talk about politics, politics is a full contact sport. At the end of the day, I believe that everybody has the right to run for office regardless of what they've done or not done. And so it's not about that. What it's about is making sure that we handle the city with the right character. When I took over the city, we were in financial collapse. We helped steer that ship. And when I left city council to run for charter commission, because we had some ethical challenges, we worked on 2 years getting a public integrity officer in there. And so people may not like my words, they may not like my personality, but they can't disagree with the work that we've done for the city and the way we've done it. Everything that we've done has been with the highest integrity. And so if I say something that's true, and you say it's below the belt because you don't want it brought up, that's different. But what I want to challenge the people and your viewers, anybody else, is where is the lie? At the end of the day, I haven't attacked anybody on their personal record. I haven't even talked about my opponent's past. I've talked about what he's done while he's been in office as city council president. Mike ran against me in 2013. I've never come out with a smear campaign against him or anything that's happened because at the end of the day, he's a part of Pontiac just like I'm a part of Pontiac. The only difference is he loves Pontiac. I am Pontiac.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Kermit. And Kermit, I'm gonna start this question with you. If not elected to mayoral seat, how can I expect to see you continuing to show up in the city?
So I've showed up for the last 20 years, but the plan is people need to vote for me. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I hate when people ask this question, well, if you don't win, are you still going to be active? Yes, I'm going to be active. But right now we're at a crossroads in where they want our city to go. They want to turn us into the city of Oakland, into something else. And I want Pontiac to be Pontiac that I was born and raised in. I tell everybody all the time, the reason that I'm running for mayor is because everything that I am, I've been able to go across the world because Pontiac afforded me that opportunity. We have a generation. I just helped feed the football team yesterday, and those young people don't have the same opportunities we have. And as soon as they get 18 or get an opportunity, they shoot out to the city. We've got Pontiac residents in Southfield, Detroit, Houston, Texas. They got a whole reunion now for Pontiac people that have been displaced around the country. And we want our young people to be able to feel like they can build their life right here in Pontiac. But we need policies. We need a mayor that's going to actually champion that and incentivize our people staying in Pontiac, building in Pontiac, and doing what they told me to do. They told me to go to college. I'm first generation college graduate. They told me to come back home and get involved. And for the last 20 years, I've been doing it, and I've been doing it the right way.
All right, thank you so much. Mike, same question. If not elected to mayoral seat, how can I expect to see you continuing to show up in the city of Pontiac?
My track record and my years demonstrate whether I win an election or lose, I'm here. And not only do I love Pontiac, but I am Pontiac. And I'm not going to pit us versus them or try and divide and conquer to try and achieve my ambitions or to get elected. Whether I win or lose, I'm trying to hold myself to a standard where I'm including everybody, valuing everybody, and working night and day to try and win. And if I don't win, that's okay. I'm going to keep being that hard worker, positive contributor to the community. I've led a nonprofit here, our Historical Society, for 6 years, chaired the Arts Commission, served on the Charter Revision Commission, different volunteer appointments, elected to the school board twice. And to get back to the question of eligibility, I was on the ballot and was elected 3 times already because I am eligible in Michigan law because of that. My criminal past has not closed the door to that. And so if I'm not here to knock my opponent about it, I'm talking to the residents. You are lying to yourself if you want to believe that I magically am not eligible to be mayor now for the first time. That just doesn't apply. I was not in elected office, and that's what the law impacts. If I was in an elected office, I would have had to wait 20 years to run. And that's just not where we're at. So vote for me or against me, but to create these fantasies about that I'm not eligible, you're lying to yourself and your neighbors. So we don't need to go down that conspiracy theory. I'm Mike McGinnis. I'm your neighbor. I'm eligible to run for mayor. I got the signatures. I'm on the ballot. I came in first place in the primary. 45% of our neighbors voted for us. And if I get across the finish line, I'm going to serve you and work hard for you, whether you vote for me or not. And if I don't make it through the finish line, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be a homeowner. I'm still going to be caring for my dad who lives in the Knolls. I love Pontiac. I am Pontiac. And whether you've been here one day or 100 years, I'm grateful that you're here too.
Thank you so much, Mike McGinnis.
So
Regina?
the next question comes from one of our viewers. And one of our viewers, the question is, Mike, what's one specific area which you cut in funding and why?
You know, that's a great question. In part, we've been in such a positive trajectory with our city's finances, with grant funding. It's been about how can we scale up? How can we grow and rebuild after emergency management and financial crises and GM leaving? But there can be hard times ahead, storm clouds ahead, and we're going to need a leader. And I believe that both candidates are in a position to do this well because of our elected experience, our community connections, that we're going to have to sometimes make tough decisions. So we've got to be clear-eyed about it, identify where we're at, communicate with the residents and our fellow elected officials, and then we have to make those decisions collectively as a community. We might have to have those town hall meetings and community conversations that say, our backs are against the wall financially. What do we have to keep and what do we have to cut? The blessing is that right now we are in a financially strong position. We've got a bond rating of AA-, the highest in our city's history. 15 years ago, it was junk bond status of CCC. And that's part of when your back's against the wall financially, you have to cut so much more painfully in terms of laying off employees and services being dialed back. But we also have a $60 million general fund balance. The good part is that our backs aren't against the wall financially, but it's also a downside that with the current mayor and a lot of slow decision making, we're not spending and delivering the services in the way we should. We actually have record high funding from the state, federal government, and grants. It's a beautiful thing. The next mayor is going to have to be on it from day one with project management to make sure all the grant funding from Pike Street and the bridge and the recreation center and ARPA funding priorities and tree replacement and maintenance and streetlights, all of these amazing grant fundings, we got to get out the door, because what we may have is if it's missed or messed up, then we have to return that money. And that would be very painful because it'd be a missed opportunity. That's why in my first year as mayor, I'm going to spend so much time project management and getting those projects done so the money's spent.
All right, Kermit,
Same question.
what's one specific area would you cut or increase funding,
Well,
and
first
why?
of all, we haven't had a consistent finance director since I left office. And so one of the things is right now we're paying an exorbitant amount of money for outside consultants in City Hall. And so one of the areas that I would cut immediately is bringing some of those services in-house. Before I looked for a deputy mayor, I looked for a chief financial officer, because we need to be able to do those books. And so my opponent just talked about the great standing that we're in. We set up a 15% fund balance almost 12 years ago, and now it's working and they have some money. But they're also doing things that if we had a financial advisor, it just wouldn't happen. You're not going to buy any building, regardless of how much is needed, with cash. You're going to actually look at how you can finance it over years in order to do that. And so one of the things that we're going to look at is making sure that we get a chief financial officer in the city to make sure that not only do we have money, but we keep money and we spend it in the most appropriate fashion. I think that they've been blessed to get grants, but we have to look at what the national climate is setting up right now. We have to be honest. We had all Democrats representing us with the exception of Sheriff Bouchard. That is changing. The national level, the national climate, as you see with EBT, is going to be harder for Pontiac to get that same money they were getting under Joe Biden under the next administration. It's just a fact. And so we need to have a mayor that knows how to do more with less. And so I've managed and helped manage the city in lean times. I went through 3 emergency managers, 3 different mayors, and I was one of the consistent forces and voices through that. I've got elected every time. So I've been elected not only for city council 3 consecutive times. My last time as council president, I was a top vote getter for the charter commission, and we made it through the primary because people believe in Pontiac, they believe in us. But we have to take really good care of our future and our finances in the city. If we don't, we'll be back in emergency management, because that law is still on the books that I've been fighting against since 2010.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question is, would you, and this is for you, Kermit, would you be willing to share your grand ideas with the mayor-elect to continue moving Pontiac forward?
Of course. I've already done that. When we moved off of city council, former council president Patrice Waterman, myself, did everything we could do to try to give whatever knowledge we had to the brand new council. I give them a lot of credit. They are all first term serving as city council. So when they came into municipal government, anything that I could do to do that, I literally sat down and had breakfast with President McGinnis when they were in damage of losing these ARPA funds, talked about the citizen concerns. They had them speaking at the end of the meeting. I told them that was unacceptable. We have senior citizens that you're holding hostage to 12 o'clock before they're able to speak. And to his credit, he moved those people up after we had those conversations. But elected or not elected, I'm going to give my all to the city of Pontiac, and whatever I can do to help, whether it be boards or commission or just a phone call, I want to do that. But the bigger piece of it is we have to have leadership that we can trust in meetings when the doors are closed. And I think I'm uniquely positioned to speak for the residents when they're not there, because at the end of the day, not only are we need to be open for business for big companies, we need to be open for mom and pops and the people who are most directly affected by our decisions that we make every day. And I think I'm well suited to do that. I've had a track record of doing that. I had a track record of working with all of these people. And when you don't have an ego, you can get almost anything done. And so a lot of times people say, well, Kermit, your name is not on it. But my fingerprints are everywhere in the city because I've always just been helping. Even if I've been leading behind the scenes, I've been leading. And that's one of the challenges that we have in this election, because part of running for office is bragging on yourself. And I don't do that. It's not one postcard I could put out that would have all the accomplishments and everything we helped in Pontiac. But there's nowhere that you can look at, whether it be a school millage, a school bond, or anything else that's been supported in the city, that Kermit hasn't had a part.
Thank you, Kermit. Mike, I'm going to ask you that same question. Would you be willing to share your grand ideas with the mayor-elect to continue moving Pontiac forward?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm committed to this work, and it's about the results and the improvements for our city. And it's been my track record, whether I'm on the winning side or the winning outcome or the losing outcome in elections or getting a job or running an organization. I'm still about it. And so I want to use my talents to give back, to make it better in whatever role or capacity that ends up being. So if it's just a matter of making sure I'm sharing the ideas or sharing what I know, that is a benefit of what I've been trying to share with the residents is my track record. And I've tried to be very exact with the words I use in terms of how I've helped something, I've voted for something, I've led on a certain initiative or outcomes. So what I've tried to do in this campaign is, one, bust my tail, be on all sides of town, run myself through the finish line as strong as possible, but I've shared who I am, what I've done, what I'd like to accomplish, and those grand ideas for our future and how we can do it together. And as the current city council president and working with our current leadership team and current mayor Tim Greimel, I will be able to, I think, hit the ground running in a lot of different initiatives and finish the major initiatives that are underway, that are funded, that all this work has been put into place to benefit our city. And so that's the MO I'm bringing. And if I don't make it across the finish line, you better believe that I'm going to include my 63 pages of notes that I've been keeping over these years of open items or trash cans that got to be fixed or replaced, issues large and small. I don't want that to fall by the wayside just because it's not me in the top seat. I'm going to work with whoever's elected to replace me on the city council, whoever's elected as the next council president. I've worked hard to build that legislative branch now that we have stability and resources, so that way it functions well. And each time we're trying to make it better, and how do we make it improved? I'm all about it.
Thank you so much, Mike. Regina?
So my question is toward Mike. One of us, it's a little bit from a viewer, but then I had a question myself because born and raised on the south side of Pontiac, and I want to, and one of the viewers and some of the viewers, but address the noise level over at M1 course that happened. I was riding through, I was going home to get my hair done on that Saturday morning and going to the other side of town. And I was coming from Southfield to Pontiac to the east side. And I heard it from the south side to the east side. So is there anything going to be different if you become mayor that's going to change that noise level?
So the weekend that you're referencing, there was a special event at M1 Concourse at Woodward and South Boulevard. They call it the American Speed Festival. And so through their special event permit issued by the city's administration, I think it's been going for 5 or 6 years. When the pandemic happened, they moved the auto show up from Cobo up to Pontiac for a year or two. And it's an especially intense and loud weekend. And other disturbances have happened with Roadkill Nights, that drag racing that happened on Woodward. It's not been approved in recent years at M1 Concourse. That's when it's especially painful, especially disruptive. So that really loud noise that I definitely heard, and I know others did on all sides of town, that's a special event. And they aren't held to the same hours and all those regulations, just like a concert or a festival or a fireworks special event permit. But getting to the broader issue, M1 Concourse has been there for a minute. It's a privately owned business. It's been there for about a decade, and it's going to keep being there until the private business either closes, sells, business model changes. And I recognize that it's intense use very close to a lot of residential and other businesses. And so what we've been trying to do is make it workable for all involved. And that's been painful. It's something that has been a drawn out process. And as city council president, I was trying to make sure that the decision was made in a way that it was hopefully as beneficial as possible with Pontiac without harming us financially we were actually enforcing the noise ordinances, and there were 3 tickets issued at $100 a pop. And I was one of the votes to say, you know what, I don't want to spend $100,000 of our taxpayer dollars to go on this endless crusade for a few $100s. So we've now got a compromise where thousands of dollars in fines are higher, that there are hour regulations and restrictions when it's not a special event, especially on weekends, because of over the years, well before I was in office, how disruptive it could be on a weekend morning for that kind of noise. I also want the millions of dollars that that private business generates in taxes to be invested in the neighborhood. So as mayor, to that question, what I want to do is those surrounding blocks, they see the biggest
That's
benefit.
time. That's
All right,
time.
thank you. So, posing the same question to you, do you want me to repeat it?
No, I'm very clear on M1 and the doubling of the noise that they did at a 12 o'clock meeting after the residents left. I think that at the end of the day, this just goes to show you that as mayor, you have to choose who you're going to serve. Either you're going to serve the people or you're going to serve the outside interests. And so that goes back to the questions that you guys have been asking me. I have nothing against M1. M1 is a business, but let's be clear. When they first got here during emergency management, they said they were going to be a car condo and they were going to have a test track where people could put their cars around. Now they're a full-fledged racetrack. And instead of challenging with the citizens the noise and the quality of life that's on the south side, they literally voted to almost double the noise limit. They didn't send out a newsletter. They didn't have a town hall. My opponent has been very clear at communication throughout the city, and this was not something that they spoke on. They really still haven't had a town hall meeting about this M1 deal and the terribleness of it. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, you need representatives that are actually going to represent the quality of life of the people. And so now, as the next mayor, they're trying to tie my hands to what we can do to limit the noise at M1. And that's problematic. At the end of the day, we have to support the residents. That noise is real. And so whether it be a special permit or whether it be the 111 decibels they're allowed to operate in going forward, is totally unacceptable. And I'm not blaming M1. They're about to have a trunk or treat for the kids with the sheriff, which is beautiful. But at the end of the day, the residents who have been invested in the South Side are not getting what they got from Truck and Bus. Truck and Bus provided thousands of jobs, and it was never as loud as 111 decibels. Let me explain what that means to you, because I didn't know anything about decibels. 111 decibels is like having a lawnmower right next to your face all day long. And that's what they voted on at 12 o'clock. It was only 4 votes. It wasn't a unanimous vote in the city. And what he also doesn't talk about is before that.
Thank you so much, Kermit. I had the opportunity to speak to some people on the South Side, and every person on the South Side was not angry. We have some people that have homes on the South Side that said, you know what? M1 sent us, when they first came, they sent letters to us saying, hey, come in, let us talk to you. Let's tell you what's going on, what we're going to be doing. And some of them said that they literally decided not to go. And so I live right there. So I hear the train at 3 a.m. I hear the train at 7 a.m. So I hear noise because I live by the train track and I live by M1. And so that Saturday, I'm very well aware because I heard it, but I was up. And so I know a lot of people was angry about that noise, but I also know that some of the decisions was made prior to some individuals. Am I correct? You are, and I'll ask you, Mike, some of those decisions to have M1 there, that was made before any of you got involved, because I know your name was circled in the article, Melanie's name, Pastor Parker. I know it was some people named that was circled saying that you actually voted on this. What are the people saying when they say you voted on this? What exactly does that mean?
It's referencing a settlement agreement with trying to resolve this legal battle between M1 Concourse and the city, where the city is enforcing the noise ordinance, and the M1 Concourse and their attorneys are talking about that it's not going to stand up, that it needs to be dismissed, in part because those tickets were written during permitted special events in the past. But that's a side matter. When we're talking about resolving, legal exposure for the city, it's not just M1 Concourse. This is not new to Pontiac or other cities. We have for years been battling with private property owners at the former Glenwood Plaza, where the decisions that elected or city officers, city employees can make can put us, the taxpayers, in real financial hot water. Glenwood Plaza lawsuit is still ongoing, and that's a threat. It was dismissed, thank goodness, but they've appealed. But the marijuana companies, the towers with Phoenix Towers, we as the taxpayers have paid a lot of millions of dollars to either our lawyers and then to settle these really tangled financial and legal messes. What I was trying to do was prevent having to shell out to a private company, put us in a position where they could successfully challenge what we were trying to do with city regulations and ordinances. I can give a laundry list, and we got to make smart decisions.
And Kermit, I want to follow that up with you because I know that was something that you talked about. You even, in one of the debates, you brought in the phone and let us hear the noise. So with that being said, and I understand that you were upset. Well, not upset, but I understand. Let me clear that up. Not upset. You were concerned because of the people names that voted. But how did that speak to you when you saw specific names supposedly voted for this to happen?
Well, I've been adamant about coming down to city council meeting and telling them not to vote in that way. And so my opponent mentioned the Ottawa Towers. The reason that the Ottawa Towers deal ended up, which is the Phoenix Center for people who don't know, and I was blessed to help settle that deal, even though we were going to have to pay $55 million, and I avoided that for the taxpayers. What I want to be clear on is when the city sold that property or had it with General Motors, they gave them permanent parking in that contract. And so the problem with this M1 deal is another bad contract that gives them some rights in perpetuity that now they can challenge us. So anytime that the noise is a little bit lower or a little bit higher than it is, we can't do anything about that now because they've tied our hands. And so anybody can sue in America. So you can't just say, oh, because it's a lawsuit, we're going to compromise on the residents. Just because one person doesn't disagree with this doesn't mean it's not a noise pollution. And that's what we basically agreed to in the city. You can't place M1 as it currently stands in any major city in America. Try to put that in Birmingham right now. Try to put it in Ferndale. Try to put it in Royal Oak. Nobody will take that. That was a property that got sold during GM's bankruptcy through the emergency manager and the federal government. This was not a Pontiac project that we brought in, and then they've expanded, and they have some good features, right? They got a great banquet center and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, the noise that this council just agreed to is going to tie us up for the next 50 years because now we can't negotiate with M1 in a real way because they have 111 decibels. So what makes them come to the table?
Thank you so much. We have a listener, a viewer. Can you take me back right here? A viewer said that I am a Southside resident and I appreciate the concerns about M1, but I feel like there has been too much focus on M1 in this election when we have citizens who are homeless, hungry, and in need of mental health support, and that list can go on and on. The reality is they are not leaving. We need collaboration versus ongoing discord and focus on change in the areas that will make positive differences in everyday lives. So
I don't think that's
it's not a question,
just a comment.
but
But
as you hear this,
I'll take
you hear this, Kermit, can you respond to what this resident is saying?
So we've been focused on all of that. I've been working. I've been working with Hope Shelter. I literally did the census a couple of years when I worked for Honor Community Health, making sure we counted the homeless people that are in the street. Two things can be true at the same time, and I think people are losing focus. A bad deal with M1 doesn't eliminate the fact that we have to make sure that we actually have a community center for our youth. The problem is once we focus on the issue, and we haven't been able to do that. This is the reason that I'm running for mayor, because a lot of these problems haven't been solved. We talk about projects that are in the pipeline, and if we can move faster to get them done, all of this stuff will happen. But the bottom line is the people have been left behind for the last 4 years. The Martin Luther King Bridge didn't just get that way, but they had the money for it 2 years ago. And now, just because it's election season, they're actually voting on a contract company so they can put it on a flyer. That's unacceptable. People need change in their life. And that was a fast 2 minutes.
Thank you. Well, it wasn't two. She did 1 minute.
Mike, you got 1 minute.
You gotta tell me these things.
All right, Mike, you got 1 minute. Do you need the question reframed?
No, I'm good. There's a lot to cram in there. A city of our challenges, a city with a lot of poverty, and we are going to have so many challenges that go beyond fixing in a month, fixing in a decade. We have to always be working on it, always being focused on how do we get the resources and strategies and partnerships. We have a lot of amazing organizations, people, schools that if we put ourselves strategically together, we can move a lot more effectively. And that's how I want to govern as mayor. But I just want to pivot to the question about the MLK Bridge in an election year. If the vote had to happen after the election and I lose, so be it. It's the right thing to do. But the best thing would have been to prevent that bridge from failing in the first place. It was less than 50 years old. It should have never gotten to that state. Inspections by the state requirements were done every 2 years. And when it was identified in the first few months of my term as council and the mayor, we had to take quick action because it had already deteriorated to the point of failure. And we've got to fix it.
Thank you both so much. Did you have a final?
No, I got.
We got
two more
it's
questions, and
so
then you got your end part.
yeah, I did it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you did? Okay.
Yes.
So I want to change the subject a little bit and talk about the new rec center.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that this is a question, and I'm going to make my comment since we're winding up. It seems like when you have a former administration in, they put things in place, and the new administration, they get all the credit because it goes on to the next administration, right? So in other words, the last mayor that put some things into effect, the things that the current mayor got to take credit for was actually some of the things that was put in place by the last administration. Okay, but I guess let's talk about the community center. Everybody know the new community, we having to open a new community center. Is there any consideration in adding a pool to it? That's not a question for me, that's a question for one, not the viewers, but Mike.
So a lot there that I could dive into, pun not intended, with the pool. We did look at the pros and cons for the recreation center on whether an indoor, outdoor pool or no pool at all. And it was really just laying out what are the cost impact. To have an indoor pool it was over $11 million more, and it was already a very expensive project in terms of where the administration and the majority of council wanted to go. There was consideration of buying the former Hayes Jones Community Center back because they already have an in-ground pool that they've renovated. But I was in support of that, but not enough of council so we had to go back to reality. And so the way that the new recreation center has been approved, there is space where a pool can be added in the future if grants or other resources allow, but it's about making it financially viable. I give a lot of credit to those that went before us and the money, they put $3 million aside. That's an important piece of the larger $38 million piece of the puzzle. And if I don't win election, that recreation center is going to be opened when I'm not in office, thriving and staffed when I'm not in office. And I don't care if no one even remembers my name for the rest of eternity. I know that the work that I helped do, the votes that I did, the difficult conversations behind the scenes that we were able to do to deliver that win, that's a win for Pontiac. And that's okay. And there are a lot of other initiatives that, sure, my fingerprints are on it, my work went into it, blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of missed sleep, but it's still for the better for the city, and that's okay. It is a relay race when it comes to leading our community, and I'm handing off the baton to a new council. I'm either getting the baton handed to me as the next mayor, or it's going to my fellow candidate, and that's okay. But we all have to be in that relay race together. If it's us versus them, or I don't like, this section, I'm not going to work with that section, then we're just setting ourselves back as a community, as the people, to get the results. But there's a lot more I can share. I don't know if we're at 1 minute or two. The recreation center is a major project that I could get more into.
Thank you so much, Mike. Kermit, you have 2 minutes for the same question.
It's 2 minutes for this question. All right. So I'm excited that our kids are finally going to get a community center. We have a youth millage that I helped champion along with my colleagues. One of the former mayoral opponents, Mark Holland, was a co-author of getting that youth millage. And we got to go back to the residents and ask them for that money again, because that provides over $1 million in programming every year. So when you see the Harvest Fest and all of those things downtown, that's because of the youth millage. And so we need to be able to do that. The issue that I'm having and trying to wrap my head around is how are we going to get not only kids to the building, how are we going to make sure they're safe, and how are we going to make sure that it's adequate for all of the residents. When I grew up, we had 4 community centers that were owned by the city, 2 Boys and Girls Club, and a YMCA. That's 7 buildings providing youth programming all the way throughout. One of the things that I've been championing is having reading labs throughout the city because there's challenges. 92% of the 8th graders that go to the Pontiac School District can't read at grade level. And so I've been working with churches, reached out to the Salvation Army and others to make sure that we have centers where these kids can read, because recreation is only half the problem. They're recreating, they're playing in front of the PlayStation or whatever. They're not learning how to read and they can't comprehend. And those are the things that we have to do to make sure we have a viable generation. And if you're going to max out the city credit card, we might as well get a pool. If you're going to spend $40 million on a building, we might as well spend 45 and get the pool and get everything with the bells and whistles. So we're not trying to build afterwards if that's what we're going to do. But we have to look at it because in actuality, we don't know what the plan for sustainability for this youth recreation center is currently. And that's one of the things that's most challenging to me with them spending $12 million on Pontiac Central in cash money, then to take out a $10 million bond on the other end to pay for the youth center. It just doesn't make sense. If you had the $12 million for Central, you could have spent the $10 million on the youth center and not had to take out a bond. Or you could have built all those things in the same thing. And the city's got black mold in the basement of City Hall, and they're going to have to make sure that they're moving that building. Those are things we got to deal with as mayor.
Thank you so much, Kermit. My last question for you all. I know, Regina, do you have another question?
Go ahead.
My last question is, one of the viewers said, in District 7, the old Longfellow building is a danger to the community with older residents in the area. It's a dumping ground for cars, furniture, boats, and other unwanted items. What will be done to correct this blight in the community, since it has been reported repeatedly to the current city council representatives? Mike.
We've had a real deluge of abandoned, vacant, large schools, and schools were built as the center of a neighborhood. So when there's a vacant school, it's in the heart or the center of a neighborhood, and it's really destructive. In recent years, on all sides of town, we've been able to see schools either demolished, restored, or a new lease on life. Longfellow is privately owned, and that's posing some challenges. So when there is dumping or other code violations, it's about holding that private property owner and owners accountable. And the record will reflect how over the years I've had to, in person, over the phone, by email, report these dumping issues, other grass overgrowth or debris issues, and there have been thousands of dollars of fine, court incidents against that property owner, and it recently has been going through court again. So I just spoke with a code enforcement manager just the other day about the matter. It is unacceptable. I have photos in my phone where I was just over there this week taking photos of the dumping that still isn't involved. But when it comes to the law and private property rights, we got to do it right so that way we, the taxpayers, don't get stuck with the bill to clean it up. And that way we have court authorization. Judge Walker has been excellent as we've built back up our code enforcement operations. Over 26,000 enforcements in our city last year alone. But these major empty schools, and I've been fighting hard on Purdue that the city owns. The city owns. So I've been initiating the city council making that decision about us bringing that down. That was not voted in favor by the rest of the council members, and this current mayor has opposed that, trying to come up with other strategies. But we've got to solve these vacant, empty schools. There's been good headway and progress. A number of them have come down in recent months and years, but Longfellow and Purdue are unacceptable. And as mayor, I'm in a stronger position to say, all right, cut the BS, cut the delays. What's the solutions that we can get results for the Longfellow and Purdue sites? But they're not alone. There are some other schools that are lingering long problems that have been closed for decades.
Yeah, thank you so much. Kermit, do I need to reread the question?
No. The question is clear. It's a lot of delay, a lot of denials, a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas in front of code enforcement. I just want to tell you about what we did. We had dumping that was major at Steed Park, right there off of between Sanford and Jesse Street. We took those large concrete boulders from the Silver Dome, brought them over to that street, halfway vacated the street so the people who live there still can get out of their home, but nobody can come in and dump. You have to be very proactive. We needed to change the ordinance like yesterday on Longfellow and all these other schools, because in no other city would it be acceptable to do that. I'm not blaming the council for not doing it because it is privately owned. But at the end of the day, we know that developer doesn't have the money to redevelop that property. When he first got there, we put an offer in. One of the ladies wanted to turn that into veterans housing. And I was in full support of doing that. Purdue School is part of that settlement that we got for the Phoenix Center that people talk about. And again, that needed to be housing and needed to be some other things, but the city does own it. So the city has a right to block off that premises, to demolish it and do other things. At the end of the day, buying and selling of buildings and demolitions and all that other stuff fall under the purview of city council. And so what we've been having is people are passing the buck back and forth. And the residents are tired of that. At the end of the day, if you have a problem, let's finish that problem, because Pontiac has been doing a little bit of everything and nothing has been done well in the city. And it shows in that leadership. It shows in District 7 and other places throughout the city, because instead of focusing all the efforts of code enforcement on dealing with Longfellow, they'll write a ticket, they'll let it go, they'll come back 6 months later and say, oh, this is unacceptable, and continue on. The residents are tired of that. And so that's why we need leadership that is Pontiac residents first. When they see these people dumping, you got to go to Channel 7, you got to go to Channel 4.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Any final words, Mike? Anything you want the viewers to know on why you were the best candidate and why they should vote for you? And also, we know that we are one of the last debates or conversations that actually I believe that's going to be held in the city of Pontiac. And we always say the last the best, the best
is
for last. That's why you got the Queen and you got Dr. T. And also, we want to say thank you for being one of the first. Actually, we had you guys on separately, but actually we were the first actually to have you on when everything first started, when they put their head out.
Yeah, because Kermit announced on being the driver's seat. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Mike, any final words?
Thank you for the opportunity. Happy birthday again, Mr. Williams. We have an amazing city, and I'm grateful for the trust that my neighbors have placed in me to serve on our school board, elected citywide twice, the trust that was placed in me on the east side to be our councilman, and the trust that my city council colleagues have placed in me 4 different years in a row to be our council leader and lead the legislative branch of our city government. We have so much momentum and positive movement in our city, and I'm running for mayor to try and keep that forward momentum going, to keep landing more wins and finish the initiatives. And we've got to be ready to move. We've got to be ready to keep moving forward, and including all of us as we're doing it. I've put my heart and soul into the work. I want to keep working hard, and it's really a job interview. And there's thousands of you that right now, either absentee or starting today, early voting, and then ultimately on November 4th, you get to make the hiring decision. And the chief executive officer of our city hall is the mayor in the way that our city government is structured. So I've been putting the work in, making those outreach and having those conversations with thousands of our neighbors all across the beautiful, diverse city of Pontiac to say I'm up for it, I'm experienced, I've got the energy, the ideas, and the track record. And if I'm not for you, that's okay. I'm so grateful to call you my neighbor, and I'm going to keep being about the work. And I thank you for just the opportunity to be able to do what I love in the city that I love and where I call home. And if you have any questions for me, you can always reach me, 248-410-0702, MikeMcGinnis.com. You know all the socials, and just trying to put all the work in and leave it up to voters and God. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mike. With seconds to spare. Kermit, 2 minutes.
Thank you again, being in the driver's seat. And hello, Mama. I know you're up early watching this today. I am just so enthralled to be running for mayor of the city of Pontiac. Coming from where I came from on the east side of Pontiac, Section 8, we didn't have a car most of the time when I was growing up. And to be running for mayor of the city who helped raise me, who taught me how leadership was supposed to be. I started running in government. My first elected position was at 26. I gave my hair to the city. I'm turning 43 today, and Pontiac has allowed me to have this opportunity. I serve as an elder of my church. I was the youngest elder. I've been there 20 years. I was the youngest elected official in Pontiac when I started running, and Pontiac has helped me grow into leadership. And now is the time to invest in us. This election is not about people's resumes. I've done it the right way, and so I don't have to argue about my past. You've seen my past. What we have to argue about is how do we make a future for Pontiac that everybody's a part of, especially the people who have put their blood, sweat, and tears into the city. And I'm the candidate that's going to show up for you every day because I've been showing up inside and outside of City Hall with or without a title. People still think I'm on City Council on the east side of Pontiac because I've been that visible, been that supportive, and I've still answered their phone calls. As mayor, we're going to make sure that that is not only turbocharged, but the people have an open voice and an open door. At the end of the day, I'm the people's mayor, I'm the people's candidate, and I'm the one that's been trusted with leadership for 20 years. When Pontiac was in its worst times, you called on me, and now we're going to go to our best times because we're going to make sure that every decision is made is not at the midnight hour, but it's with you in mind and with you informed. So thank y'all, and I ask y'all to vote for me. Come to the library right now, bring some canned goods, because we know that people are hurting in this city, and we need a mayor that really recognizes the impact of the national level and the Pontiac level. Thank y'all so much.
So I want to give a shout out to the two people. I'm not going to say their names, but shout out to the two
Three.
people.
We had three
Actually, three people, because I think that one person, somebody she knows personally. But shout out to the three people that actually came up with the questions for today. You know, not born and raised in Pontiac, not a person that actually is voting in Pontiac. I believe, I know that you guys this was a great conversation with you guys. You guys both did a great job.
Yeah,
We
great
appreciate
job.
you guys. And, you know, it's if I had to vote, I'd vote for both of them. Could we have two mayors? Could we have like half? Could we do like 2 mayors? No,
You do the
for
first
real.
6 months, you do the next 6 months.
And I'm saying this is, if I could vote here, if we could have two mayors and they split up and they work together. Because I remember when we actually first started, I think we had Kermit on, then we had Mike, and I've watched them grow.
Oh yeah.
The conversation, seeing them at events, you know what I mean? And just admiring their work, going to different events and seeing them at different events, but then trying to figure out like, wow, how do they make everything work? How do you go from 3 events? We go to 2 events or 3 events a day, and I'm trying to get back home, right? And I know you probably do 6 or 7, but when I see you guys doing 12, 13 events a day, and you know, doing this and doing that, I'm like, well, I couldn't do it. But anyway, if I could vote in Pontiac, I would vote for both of you guys because you guys are doing a great job. I just hope that whoever gets in, that you guys don't run away and hide, that you figure out how, some way that we could, you know, you guys could work together.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you both representing us, running. I'm thankful and I'm excited for what's going to happen. My desire, my hope, and my prayer is that what's being promised actually be manifested, that it happens. So I'm glad again you both ran an excellent campaign. I'm excited to see who the winner is going to be, who I'm going to be working with and getting on our nerves coming down here in the business. So I'm excited. So vote, all the listeners. There's a lot of people watching. Make sure you get out and vote. Early voting starts today, and it's going on now, and it's until 4 o'clock. Am I correct? It's 4:30 today. You can go right here to the Pontiac Library, so you have no excuse to vote. We have a lot of people that did not vote in the last election, the last primary, and so you didn't vote, but you have time now. Don't let your vote go uncounted.
Put up or shut up.
Yeah, put up or shut up. But we have a lot of people that have a lot of opinions, and right here in my city, and you don't vote. You don't vote. You have an opportunity to vote. And so get out and vote. You've heard what they had to say. You know what they stand for. Vote.
And then let me just say this. If you're new to our page, subscribe. We worked real hard. We started in the beginning. We came to the end. We started in the beginning, got them. Now we're the last ones, right?
Yeah. Are we the last ones?
No, and if they do,
are we the last ones?
No, and if it doesn't matter, if they do try to get them, it doesn't matter. We
put it in.
So if you are new to our Being a Driver's Seat page, please like our page. Please follow us. If you're on YouTube, you watch on YouTube, please subscribe, because we have worked real hard to put this program, our program together.
Yeah.
And I think the great thing about Dr. T and myself is that we are sisters, not blood sisters, but sisterhoods. You don't have to actually be blood to someone to actually have family. I don't have any blood in Michigan except my two brothers, but Dr. T is actually my sister in Christ, my sister. She's she has my front, my back, and my everything. So let me just tell you,
Thank
I
you for
love
shouting
you,
me
and I'm
out this
giving you
morning.
flowers this morning.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Now, can you send me
likewise.
some more customers? I got to
Yeah.
go to work.
Likewise, and let us not forget our producer Asante Lucas, who is born and raised right here in Pontiac
Yes.
as well.
He doesn't vote here either.
Yeah, well, he was born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan, South Side. So I'm so
That's right,
excited.
it is South Side,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So again, thank you all for watching. It has been a great show. And again, please get out and vote. This is my city. I'm 10 toes down for Pontiac. I vote here. I live here. I support here. I am through and through. My blood runs here from my grandmother
10 toes down.
10 toes down. And so vote. So y'all make sure y'all get out and vote. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.